Oh, I love that. He's right. Character, effort, teamwork, great to watch. Now Dwyane Wade. You all may have heard of him, Heat fans. Tyler and Bam for the next 10 years can be special. And he is not wrong. Big face coffee for everyone. See, but I doubt that he's still gonna charge them for $20 a piece. Small, medium, or large. $50 for 2 smalls, by the way. That's how much he's charging, Karan.
Oh, they tax him.
Yeah. Let's take a look back, though, on the Boston Celtics season, finishing 3rd in the Eastern Conference, of course, as we look back to what Brad Stevens referred to as a calendar year. 1 year ago, we said at Celtics Media Days in Boston, talking about the acquisition of Kemba Walker in July of 2019, and of course, losing Kyrie Irving and Al Horford in free agency. Looking ahead to 20 and 21, Gordon Hayward has a player option for that season, and they've got several picks in the 2020 NBA draft. So guys, let's talk a little bit about what's next for this team, but also what was for this team tonight. In that final 4th quarter stretch, Zeke, what did you notice about this team that simply couldn't finish this Game 6?
I saw that they lost their collective will and trust and belief in their system. And when you look at the last 4 to 5 minutes of play, now, when you're talking about winning in the playoffs and you talk about winning championships, you're talking about breaking the other team's trust in each other. You're talking about breaking the other team's belief in their system. And then you're talking about breaking down their individual, personal, attitude for winning. And that's what the Miami Heat did in the 4th quarter to the Boston Celtics. They basically disrupted their will, killed their spirit to win the basketball game.
Karan, one of the things that our friend Rachel Nichols mentioned as she took the podium to present that trophy to the Miami Heat was that the Boston Celtics were going to be in contention in the Eastern Conference for a long time. What do you see as what's next for this team, and how close are they to contending for a championship? Of course, the literal answer is, well, a couple of games, but how close is this team to being able to win a title?
Yeah, look, I think they're a healthy season away. When you think about the injuries that was obtained to Gordon Hayward, Kemba Walker coming into this bubble, hobbled and finding his health, somewhat in the course of these playoff runs, and a couple games out of making it to the finals before running into just a seasoned Miami Heat ball club, defensively just poised on that end of the floor and that just fought you for every inch, every possession. And I agree with Zeke, for stretches of this game, and not this game, but games prior, the Celtics fell out of sync and they relied on their individualism, some of those heroics. And sometimes it got them through, and clearly tonight it it didn't happen for them. And I felt like whatever it just wasn't clicking for him. But if you get Gordon Hayward back and he gets healthy, get his legs back underneath him, you know that he's a high-quality player that can provide so many things offensively and defensively, and get the other guys, clicking as well. With a healthy run, a healthy bunch of games under them, they'll be right back in the midst of it.
As I mentioned, it was 1 year ago that I sat down with Kemba Walker in Boston for Celtics Media Day to talk about how excited he was to put on a Celtics uniform 1 year ago. And now here he is in this Game 6 loss in the Eastern Conference Final. He scored 20 points, had 5 assists as well, and he sat down now to address the media.
It was a fun run. It's a tough pill to swallow. But we fought hard, man. And that's all you can ask for. You want guys to compete at a really high level, and I'm just proud of all these guys. It's been a really fun year, to be around these guys. So yeah.
Brian, Rob. Kemba, what happened? What do you kind of saw happening in the 4th quarter there with you guys when they responded to that 26-6 run? Did you guys feel you were pressing offensively at that point once they got going there? What did you see?
I don't think we were pressing. I thought we got some really good looks. They didn't drop. While you know, whenever we did miss, those guys, they brought it down with great pace and, you know, made the plays necessary to win. And that was the difference. You know, they made the plays and we didn't.
Question to person, Gary Washburn.
It seemed like 3 of the 4 games you guys had a loss, you had a chance to win. To kind of take it for you. How do you change it? How do you become the team that takes it from others?
You just gotta learn how to, you gotta grow. You know, we're gonna have to figure out how to win those games. You know, down the stretch. You know, but you know we got time. You know, we about to be out of here, and you know at some point, you know we'll look back at this and just learn. You know, it's all learning experiences, and you know we all just gotta have big all seasons and ready to come back whenever we start back up.
Sherrod Blakely.
Yeah, hey, Kemba, whenever the season ends, there are things that players obviously talk about wanting to grow from and get better at heading into the next season. When you look at this team, Kemba, what are some areas you think as a collective body, you as Celtics, need to kind of grow from this experience to help you and aid you going forward?
I think for us it's more whenever we have leads, learning how to maintain it, learning how to be better, not playing in spurts. I thought we did that a lot throughout the course of this season. We'll get better. We had a lot of times where all of us didn't play together, injuries and things of that nature. This is our first year together, so we're going to have some time to grow. It's going to be a fun group over the next couple of years.
Tim Bontemps.
Kemba, this is obviously your first opportunity to be this late in the playoffs. What are you going to remember about it beyond obviously the unique circumstances of it, and what are your biggest regrets from the way this played out?
I've learned a lot. Just the intensity of the playoffs. Every possession just matters so much. From game to game, things switch from game to game. Adjustments. Every game is just different, So yeah, biggest regrets. I don't have any, man. I thought we fought hard, man. A lot of credit to Miami. Those guys are really good. A lot of credit to my teammates. I thought we fought hard, man. And like I said, that's all you can ask for. I got a lot of respect for the guys that I play with.
Jared Weiss.
The whole series, it was the constant battle between trying to stay on the shooters without getting exposed by Bam Adebayo attacking the rim. How big of a challenge was it just kind of navigating that whole series, finding yourself in so many different situations that we thought?
Yeah, they do a great job. They do a great job at balancing their attacks. They have great shooters, but they just didn't work out, And Bam he's a star, man, and he played like it.
Final question for Kemba, Brian Rock.
It was obviously a postseason grind for you guys with games every other day for the most part. How did you feel like you were doing physically at this point now that it's all over with your knee after with the whole plan you guys put into effect?
It doesn't matter at this point. To be honest, anything I tell you would be an excuse. So I was fine. I was able to be on that court. So that's really all that matters.
All right, we'll wrap it up right there. Thanks again.
No, thank you.
Eric Spoelstra is at the podium now addressing the media after securing a first trip to the finals since 2014.
That we would have a contending team, and nobody knew that the turn of events of a bunch of things we couldn't control, and he stayed with it. Stayed with it, and we were able to build some solid pieces around him. Our organization obviously just kept on forging ahead. We were able to get a 1 of 1 in a draft pick late in Bam Adebayo. And obviously the general public is being introduced to Bam Adebayo, but I feel like I've been through 50 plus playoff games with him. because we've been scratching and crawling for our playoff lives the last 2 years, and he's been every bit a part of that struggle trying to get into the playoffs. And then, to be able to get somebody like Jimmy Butler. It was one of the most amazing recruiting visits we've ever had. Last June, it was so conversational, and you just felt like after 20 minutes that we were so aligned in how we viewed competition and work and culture, everything. We never even got into a pitch with him. We really just had dinner. We were talking shop, and he interrupted Pat and I probably after dinner, probably 5 minutes into just a conversation. He said, "Hey, by the way, I'm in." We're like, "What? We haven't even given you our pitch yet." But he set the stage, to make this right about now. This team, that it would be now, and you need to have somebody like Jimmy, guys like Goran, leadership of UD, be able to draft somebody like Tyler, to be able to develop, guys like Duncan and K. Nunn, and then the midseason trade to be able to get Andre with such championship experience with championship pedigree, and Jay and Solo, because we were relying on our young guys. So the guys that have been in our organization for so long, we understand how difficult this is to get to this point. And that's what that locker room, of all the guys that have been here for so many years, we just want to enjoy it for a night. Teams like this are unique. It's special. A group that really competes, a bunch of guys that have been overlooked in a lot of ways. A lot of guys in our locker room have been told that they're less than. They're the anti-AAU or New Age analytics, where you're trying to figure out what a player can do statistically. These guys just want to compete. They just want to roll the ball out and play and compete and fight for it. And that's one of the reasons that I really admire and love being a part of this group. I'm on the long tangent, but I do want to acknowledge Boston. They're a class organization. Great series. It was so competitive. I mean, in many ways, this was a 7-game series, just how competitive it was. Extremely well coached and well put together. And we were just honored to be a part of that type of series in the conference finals. And then we get an opportunity, for the next stage. Our guys we'll look forward to it. We're going to try to enjoy it for a night.
Okay, next question, Nick Friedel.
Specific to Bam, you guys all said in the last couple of days it wasn't his fault, despite the fact that he took the blame after the loss the other night. What is it about his personality that allows him to forget what happened the other night and show up in